Thank you for joining us for the next instalment of our video mini-series, Landlord FAQs, produced in collaboration with our friends and partners at InventoryBase. And joining me throughout is Sian, who has years of experience of working with inventories in the private rented sector. And Sian, we're moving on now to our next topic. And I think this highlights really how transparent the whole inventory process is, and how it creates an audit trail that actually serves both the landlord and the tenant. And you often get asked, do I need to share the inventory with the tenant? So I think we can guess the answer to that one.
Yeah, I mean, I always say you don't have to. There's nothing actually that states you've got to, but I don't understand why you wouldn't. The whole point of the inventory is to showcase the property, to evidence what exactly is there, and it's a way of showcasing exactly what is being handed over to the tenant for them to then hopefully care for it, maintain it, and then hopefully give it back to you at the end of the tenancy, less any fair wear and tear. So unless the tenant understands and can see what their responsibilities are, it's perhaps difficult for them to actually do that. So to me, it makes sense to share it, to give them an understanding their responsibilities, especially if you've got furniture or appliances, or you've left the property in really good order. You want to showcase that and then say to the tenant, this is what you're taking over and this is how I would like it back. And then that way then they can understand exactly what they need to do in regards to care, maintenance of the property, understand exactly where issues might lie already at the property. So maybe the carpet wasn't as clean as it should be, maybe the bathroom wasn't as clean, or there's some damage, etc. So the tenant's liability is clearly showcased within the report, equally the same as it is with the landlords. And certainly with InventoryBase, we make that really, really easy, because as soon as the report is done, as soon as that report is shared, then the tenant can be sent a copy electronically. They can open up the report. They can look at the pictures in the gallery view. They can comment against the item. So for argument's sake, if the report was done a few days before, maybe there's been a bit of cleaning that's been done since then, they can highlight that, or they can highlight maybe where there's been an issue, or they think there's a bit of damage or something that needs maybe maintenance on. They can put that in. Everything is date and time captured, their name, their email address, to make sure that it's very clear that that's who that's done that. They can upload their own photographs, so they can evidence their own comments. So again, it's clear. So again, that all goes towards the adjudicator should anything go to deposit dispute. And because that has an audit trail, it means then from the share history point of view, everybody's exactly aware of who got the report, when it was opened, who signed what, how many comments were made. And then when it comes again to adjudication, there's all the evidence bundle that anybody needs to be able to make a fair and reasoned judgment. If you don't share that with the tenant, quite rightly, the tenant can say, well, I didn't know I was responsible for that because I never got a report. You never told me about that. Or equally, if maybe the markings on a hob or the markings on a oven aren't quite clear and it's highlighted in the report, and maybe the tenant hasn't used it properly, the tenant can use that as an example. So, well, I used it, but I couldn't understand it because the information wasn't there. Equally, turn that on its head. Landlord can say, well, clearly the information's there. Clearly you were able to showcase, so we were able to showcase exactly how to use it. We gave you a manual, which is in the manual section. So therefore, there's no excuse not to be using that correctly. So it has a dual role. And at the end of the day, if everybody understands their responsibilities, anybody deviates from that, anybody that doesn't do what they should do or act in a tenant-like manner or maintain the property as it should do, then it's easy to be able to understand exactly where that liability lies.